Seeking Wisdom, Week 28, Treasure of Wisdom, the Book of Proverbs. The Book of Proverbs could be called a collection of collections and is considered a treasure of Jewish wisdom. When this book was compiled, there were two components that were needed to make this book complete: maxims or sayings, and teachings. The characteristics of the proverbial component are brief, wise, easy to remember, emanating from experience, present universal truth, aim at real practice, and are of lasting value. The maxims are often presented by anonymous authors and left as a lesson to the next generation. The teachings are presented as a legacy of a father to be left to his children with commandments and reasons for obedience. The Book of Proverbs is attributed to King Salomon as the author, and many of the proverbs in the book come from this wise and famous king. This book is a collection of teachings and maxims from the ages, and therefore contains an invaluable treasure of wisdom for mankind. When you read this book, it is very important to concentrate on each word and then compare it to our everyday lives and experiences. This absorption of the Proverbs is a way to reap the full benefits of the teachings, not only spiritually, but also humanly, so we may use these teachings in our everyday social relationships. The Proverbs emphasize two aspects: knowledge and morality. In the culture of ancient Israel, the heart was viewed as a source of thought, reason, and decision, and this is why the teachings in the Book of Proverbs are aimed at the heart, not just the modern concept of the mind. If the Book of Proverbs emphasizes thinking as a key to understanding, then thinking here is not seen only as purely abstract, but must be expressed and evaluated in daily life, making the intellectual aspect go hand in hand with the ethical aspect. When examining the theology of the Book of Proverbs, we realize the main topic of the book is devotion to the family, honesty, righteousness, concern for the poor, self-control, and control of passions. The origin and conclusion of all these virtues is wisdom, which is also understood as a fear of God, and trusting God alone, and hidden in these counsels is the conviction that evil cannot be tolerated in God's order. Chapters 1 to 9 identify wisdom with God's authority, therefore showing us that believers will be blessed and non-believers will be cursed. There are three main topics in the Book of Proverbs, the first being fear of God, the second being the face of God, and the third is virtuous life. So when we look at the first topic, fear of God, we realize when we read the book that this is actually a handbook that teaches people the art of gaining the love of those around you and success. Young people can use this book to gain wisdom and learn valuable lessons from past experiences, and even use them today. While the book has lessons for everyday life, it also highlights a connection of wisdom with the fear of God. The fear of God is the first step of wisdom. Such wisdom is not only a matter of wisdom based on experience, but also a moral attitude toward God. Fear of God is not so much fear as it is respect, especially when we experience the transcendence of the Lord who protects us. This fear of God summed up the morality of the Israelites because it involved loyalty, love, and obedience. The second topic, the face of God, covered in this section, will show what we conceive to be the face of God. The word God appears many times in the Book of Proverbs, especially in chapters 10 to 22. God is the creator of man, including the poor. He guides all human steps, and his eyes see all its actionable thoughts. These quotes show us why he is also the one who rewards the good and the wicked in the world, or why the good people are happy, healthy, and live long lives, and why the not so good people have the opposite happen in their lives. However, the Book of Proverbs does not mention anything about the reward and punishment of the next life, does not believe in the resurrection of the dead, makes no reference to the requirements of the temple offering, but only indirectly refers to it or the keeping of the covenant. How many of us live a virtuous or good life? How would you describe living a virtuous life? Well, just read the Book of Proverbs. It is intended to guide people in the right direction. This book is aimed at individuals rather than a group, even though the individual remains a member of the community. Chapter 10 to 13 in Proverbs can easily be summed up in the following statement: He who is virtuous is wise, and he who is wise is good, and he who is good is happy. In other words, virtue is the only path to happiness. Other words of sage advice from the Book of Proverbs are: the individual must practice self-control, especially in words. Be wary of the temptation of distraction. We must respect the poor. Help the widows. Avoid laziness, alcohol, and respect our parents. So just remember all that is true, charitable, pure, humble, and honest, God will reward. But if the opposite is true, punishment is inevitable. The Book of Proverbs has a positive outlook on life, and that vision stems from the conviction that the universe has an order. And thanks to God's help, we can live with that order and have peace, happiness, and prosperity. Some people think that the morality in the Book of Proverbs, especially in Part 2, is only selfish. But only the intention of the action is important. God doesn't just look at the outer appearance, but looks into our hearts. And the reward or punishment as he sees fit is not only outside, but is also inner fruits, even in others. Today, as we read the Book of Proverbs, the teachings seem to be inferior to those of Jesus. But let's not forget that true religion is always based on an honest human life. Some of the Proverbs foretell the morality of the gospel, such as chapter 14, verse 31, chapter 15, verse 8, etc., and are simply asking us to do good for our love of God and our neighbor. In the New Testament, the Proverbs are cited 14 times, and about 20 times refer to them but are not cited specifically. Jesus is called the wisdom of God, and he is wiser than Solomon, are just a couple of the similarities of the theology of the Word and the figure of wisdom in Proverbs. Real life is complicated, and sometimes the unexpected happens, but when we look at our lives through a lens of the Book of Proverbs, everything seems simple and calm. But don't forget, the Proverbs does not cover all aspects of our lives. Each maxim just hopes to reflect a piece of life. The Book of Proverbs is a reflection of experiences and should be used as a guide to help us respond to specific situations. These guidelines are not set in stone, but are examples that we can learn from. Christians of today can find many useful thoughts in the Book of Proverbs for their life of faith. We conclude this lesson with the best Proverbs from the Book of Proverbs, which are scattered in chapters 9 to 22. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is insight. For by me your days will be multiplied, and years will be added to your life. If you are wise for yourself. If you scoff, you alone will bear it. The fear of the Lord is instruction in wisdom, and humility goes before honor. The plans of the mind belong to mortals, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All one's ways may be pure in one's own eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirit. Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. The Lord has made everything for its purpose, even the wicked for the day of trouble. All those who are arrogant are an abomination to the Lord, Be assured they will not go unpunished. By loyalty and faithfulness, iniquity is atoned for, and by the fear of the Lord, one avoids evil. When the ways of people please the Lord, he causes even their enemies to be at peace with them. Better is a little with righteousness than large income with injustice. The human mind plans a way, but the Lord directs the steps. How much better to get wisdom than gold? To get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the body. The lot is cast into the lap, but the decision is the Lord's alone. One who spares words is knowledgeable. One who is cool in spirit has understanding. Even fools who keep silent are considered wise. When they close their lips, they are deemed intelligent. Better the poor walking in integrity than one perverse of speech who is a fool. Desire without knowledge is not good, and one who moves too hurriedly misses the way. A stupid child is ruin to a father, and a wife's quarreling is a continual dripping of rain. House and wealth are inherited from parents, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. Whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord and will be repaid in full. Discipline your children while there is hope. Do not set your heart on their destruction. Those who do violence to their father and chase away their mother are children who cause shame and bring reproach. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches, and favor is better than silver or gold. The rich and the poor have this in common. The Lord is a maker of them all. The clever see danger and hide, but the simple go on and suffer for it. The reward for humility and fear of the Lord is riches and honor and life. Thorns and snares are in the way of the perverse. The caution will keep far from them. Train children in the right way, and when old, they will not stray. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this week's lesson. Please join us next Friday for a new video. The answers to this week's question will be revealed in next week's video. Remember, every Friday, the Seeking Wisdom Challenge will be posted on YouTube and Facebook. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, or subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and we wish you a wonderful weekend full of grace and joy.